The System of Higher Dimensions. Chapter 23, The Awakening Shock. The world changed overnight. Not because of an invasion. Not because of a dimensional collapse. Not because of war. But because of a single notification. Warning. Candidate number 2 has awakened. Every hunter on earth saw it. Every guild leader. Every government official. Every system user. Nobody knew what it meant. Yet everyone felt afraid. Because the system itself sounded afraid. Inside Kai's apartment, silence lingered. The crimson notification had vanished. But the tension remained. Kai stared at the spot where the message had appeared. Candidate number 2. The strongest candidate in history. The man sealed for 12,000 years. And somehow, he knew Kai's name. Why me? Kai finally asked. The first candidate rubbed his forehead. You think I know? You're the one who keeps hiding information. Because some information gets people killed. Kai opened his mouth. Then closed it. Unfortunately, that sounded believable. Near the window, the original system sat quietly. The blue glow surrounding her body flickered gently. She seemed distracted. Lost in thought. Or memory. Seal noticed first. You knew him. The room fell silent. The original system lowered her gaze. For a few seconds she didn't answer. Then, yes. The answer carried unexpected sadness. Not fear. Not hatred. Sadness. Kai frowned. Who was he? The girl's expression became distant. As if she were looking 12,000 years into the past. He was a hero. Nobody expected that answer. Not Kai. Not C. Not even the first candidate. A hero. Kai repeated. The original system nodded. He saved worlds. The room became quiet. He protected stories. Another pause. He fought monsters no one remembers. Kai blinked. That sounded nothing like the catastrophe they had described. As if reading his thoughts. The original system continued. Then something happened. Her voice grew quieter. Almost fragile. And everything changed. The first candidate immediately looked away. That reaction didn't escape Kai. The former system knew more than he was saying. Again. Before Kai could push further, his system suddenly appeared. New quest received. Join the Hunter Guild evaluation. Time limit 72 hours. Reward advancement opportunity. Failure none. Kai stared. Then frowned. Seriously. Candidate number 2 had awakened. Reality was shaking. Ancient mysteries were unfolding. And the system wanted him to attend an evaluation? The first candidate glanced at the notification. Then nodded. Go. Kai looked at him. What? Go. You're joking. I'm not. The former system folded his arms. For the first time in your life, Stop chasing the biggest disaster in existence. Seal laughed. Actually laughed. Kai looked offended. You want me to ignore candidate number 2? No. The first candidate shook his head. I want you to survive candidate number 2. That immediately got Kai's attention. You're not strong enough. The words hit harder than expected. Because Kai knew they were true. He had fought monsters, rifts, executors. But candidate number 2, a man sealed for 12,000 years. That was an entirely different level of danger. For several moments nobody spoke. Then Seal stood. Then we're going. Kai blinked. We? She raised an eyebrow. Did you think I was staying behind? The answer was obvious. She wasn't. A small smile appeared on Kai's face. For some reason. That made him feel better. Far away. On the outskirts of a ruined city. The silver-eyed man walked alone. No army followed him. No monsters obeyed him. No storms surrounded him. He simply walked. Quietly. Calmly. Yet everywhere he passed, systems malfunctioned. Notifications glitched. Dimensional gates trembled. Reality itself seemed uncertain how to react to his existence. The man stopped. For the first time since leaving his prison, he looked toward the sky, toward the stars, toward the worlds beyond, and remembered. 12,000 years ago. Fire, war, screams, betrayal. His expression didn't change. But his eyes became colder. They forgot. The wind carried his words away. All of them forgot. Somewhere beyond dimensions. The giant eye opened. Watching. Interested. Patient. The silver-eyed man looked directly upward. As though he could sense the gaze. For several seconds, the two simply stared at one another. Then the man smiled. Still watching? Far beyond reality. The giant eye smiled back. Inside Kai's apartment, a sudden chill ran down his spine. His instincts screamed danger. Not nearby. Not immediate. But coming. Slowly. Inevitably. The system suddenly appeared again. This time only visible to Kai. Notice. Candidate number 2 has begun moving. Kai froze. The notification continued. Current objective. Unknown. Destination. Unknown. Threat level. Unmeasurable. For the first time in a long while, Kai felt genuinely nervous. Because somewhere out there, the strongest candidate in history was walking free. And nobody knew what he wanted. Not even the system. End of chapter 23. The system of higher dimensions. Chapter 24, The Hunter Evaluation. 3 days later. The world still hadn't recovered from candidate number 2's awakening. News channels talked about nothing else. Guilds increased security. Governments monitored dimensional activity around the clock. And hunters everywhere felt uneasy. Because candidate number 2 had vanished. No attacks. No announcements. No destruction. Nothing. That somehow made everything worse. People feared known monsters. They feared known enemies. But nobody knew what candidate number 2 wanted. And uncertainty created fear. Kai stood outside the headquarters of the Global Hunter Association. The enormous building towered over the city skyline. Hundreds of hunters entered and exited every hour. Some looked confident. Others nervous. Most looked exhausted. Seal stood beside him, wearing casual clothes instead of combat gear. Even so, she attracted attention. Mostly because she looked completely unconcerned. You nervous? She smirked. Kai sighed. About the evaluation? About anything. Kai thought for a moment. Then nodded. A little. For once. He wasn't lying. Candidate number 2. The giant eye. The original system. The hidden quest involving sea. Everything felt connected. Yet he couldn't see the bigger picture. Not yet. Before either could continue, a voice interrupted them. So you're Kai Hunter. Kai turned. A young man stood nearby. Tall. Athletic. Confident. The kind of confidence that bordered on arrogance. A Hunter Association badge hung from his jacket. Kai immediately noticed something unusual. The man's system energy was strong. Very strong. Stronger than most errant hunters. Who are you? The young man smiled. Damien Cross. Seal's expression changed slightly. She recognized the name. One of the fastest rising hunters in the country. Known for completing high-level gates alone. Rumors claimed several guilds were fighting to recruit him. Damien looked Kai up and down. Evaluating him. Measuring him. Then he grinned. I expected someone taller. Kai blinked. What? Seal immediately laughed. Damien shrugged. The guy everyone's talking about. The candidate. The rift survivor. The mysterious hunter. He crossed his arms. You don't look special. Kai stared. Then looked at C. Can I hit him? No. Just once. No. Damien laughed. And surprisingly, the tension eased. A little. For the first time in days, Kai felt something normal. Something human. A rival. Not an ancient cosmic mystery. Not a world-ending threat. Just another hunter. Unfortunately, the feeling didn't last. The moment Kai stepped through the association entrance, his system activated. Warning. Anomalous presence detected. Kai froze. The notification vanished instantly, as though it had never appeared. His heartbeat accelerated. What was that? The system didn't answer. The original system suddenly appeared beside him, invisible to everyone else. Her expression was unusually serious. He was here. Kai's eyes widened. Who? The girl looked toward the upper floors of the building. Candidate number 2. The world seemed to stop. What? He was here. The original system sounded certain. Absolutely certain. Kai immediately scanned the crowd. Hundreds of hunters. Association employees. Security personnel. Visitors. None looked unusual. None looked like ancient monsters. None looked like the strongest candidate in history. Which was exactly why it was terrifying. Because candidate number 2 could have walked among them unnoticed. The original system suddenly looked confused. That's strange. Kai frowned. What is? He left something behind. Before Kai could ask, a new notification appeared. Hidden event discovered. Trace of the forgotten candidate. Classification unique. Kai's pulse quickened. This was the first concrete lead. The first clue. The first step toward understanding candidate number 2. And for some reason, his system seemed eager for him to follow it. Far away, at the edge of a deserted highway, a silver-eyed man sat atop an abandoned building, watching the sunset, watching the world, watching humanity continue without him. 12,000 years. And yet people still laughed, still dreamed, still hoped. A small smile appeared on his face. Not cruel, not malicious, almost nostalgic. Then he looked toward the distant city, toward Kai's location, and quietly spoke. Let's see what kind of protagonist you are. The wind carried the words away. Unknown to Kai. Unknown to the first candidate. Unknown even to the watchers. The first move in an ancient game had already begun. End of chapter 24. The system of higher dimensions. Chapter 25, the trace he left behind. Kai stared at the notification. Hidden event discovered. Trace of the forgotten candidate. Classification unique. The message hovered before him for several seconds. Then another line appeared. Investigation recommended. Kai frowned. Investigation recommended. The original system nodded. It means the system wants you to find something helpful. I'm being serious. I know. Seal stepped closer. What exactly did candidate number 2 leave behind? The original system remained silent, which wasn't a good sign. Whenever she knew something but refused to answer immediately, it usually meant the answer was dangerous. The Hunter Association building buzzed with activity around them. Hunters walked through the hallways. Employees rushed between offices. Announcements echoed from speakers. Everything looked normal. Yet Kai couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Very wrong. Because candidate number 2 had been here recently, maybe hours ago, maybe minutes, and nobody had noticed. That thought bothered him more than anything. Can you track it? Kai asked. The original system closed her eyes. Blue particles drifted around her body. For several moments she remained still. Then she pointed toward the lower levels. The archives. Kai blinked. The archives. The Hunter Association archives stored records, old reports, historical data, mission logs. Nothing exciting. Certainly nothing worth awakening ancient cosmic mysteries over. Yet candidate number 2 had apparently gone there. Interesting. A familiar voice interrupted. Damien Cross appeared beside them, carrying a cup of coffee. Somehow, Kai had no idea where he came from. You always talk to invisible people? Damien asked. Kai sighed. Unfortunately. Seal laughed. Damien looked confused. Then decided not to ask questions. Probably a wise choice. Minutes later, the group entered the lower floors. The atmosphere immediately changed. The bustling noise vanished. Long hallways stretched beneath the building. Rows of reinforced doors lined the walls. Everything felt older, quieter, forgotten. Kai's system suddenly reacted. Warning. Residual candidate energy detected. His pulse quickened. This was real. Not speculation. Not theory. Candidate number 2 had definitely been here. The farther they walked, the stronger the feeling became. Eventually they reached a sealed archive room. The door stood slightly open. Kai frowned. That's suspicious. Damien nodded. Very suspicious. Seal rolled her eyes. Thank you both for your incredible detective skills. Kai ignored her. Mostly because she had a point. Slowly, he pushed the door open. The room beyond was enormous. Thousands of files filled towering shelves. Ancient documents sat behind reinforced glass. Records dating back generations. Maybe centuries. Nothing appeared damaged. Nothing appeared stolen. At least at first glance. Then Kai noticed one empty display case. The glass had been opened. Not broken. Opened. Carefully. Someone had taken exactly one item. A single file. Damien stepped closer. What was stored here? An elderly archivist emerged from a nearby desk. His face was pale. His hands trembled slightly. That's impossible. Kai turned toward him. What is? The old man pointed toward the empty case. That file shouldn't exist. The room fell silent. What file? Kai asked. The archivist swallowed nervously. A record from 12,000 years ago. Kai froze. Damien froze. Even Seal looked surprised. 12,000 years. That wasn't possible. Modern civilization didn't even possess records that old. The archivist continued. It appeared one day. Everyone stared. What? The old man nodded. Nobody knows where it came from. His voice lowered. The file was already here when the association was founded. A chill ran down his spine. What was inside it? The archivist hesitated. Then answered. A hunter registration form. Silence. Kai frowned. That's it. The old man slowly shook his head. No. His voice trembled. The name on the registration form. The lights flickered. For a brief moment, every system in the room glitched. The archivist whispered the answer. Belonged to candidate number 2. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Because candidate number 2 hadn't stolen treasure. Hadn't stolen power. Hadn't stolen knowledge. He had come here to retrieve his own forgotten identity. Far away, the silver-eyed man sat alone beneath the night sky. An ancient document rested in his hands. Old, fragile, worn by time. At the top of the page was a name. His name. The one the world had forgotten. The one history had erased. The silver-eyed man stared at it quietly. For a long time. Then he smiled. Not happily. Not sadly. Simply knowingly. So that's who I used to be. Above him, the stars seemed strangely distant. As if even they were waiting. Waiting for what came next. End of chapter 20.